Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for hopping on this afternoon for the first of our Shine Push to Diamond Zooms. This Shine, if you've participated in them before, they are going to be a little bit different than the ones from the past. We've got a handful of different leaders. This time around, we've got myself, we have Christy Curtis, Amber Scott, Heather Foltz, and Ashley Mahaffey, who are all kind of partaking in this together with you guys. So each one of us is going to be leading a Zoom each week to give you guys a little bit of extra training, kind of really help you dig deep and push for those goals over the next 5.5 weeks. So I hope everybody is really ready to kick off their first full week. In the group. Thank you to Chelsea, who is taking care of all of the week one posts. If you guys don't know Chelsea, she is crossline for me. She is a fairly new coach. She's a brand new diamond, and she is growing into really an amazing leader in this network. So if you don't follow her already on Facebook, make sure that you follow her because she's super fun and she's got great videos. So with that, what I'm going to talk about today is belief and mindset. And for me, when I started out, I really had a lot of trouble with this. This was something that when I hit Diamond, I definitely really didn't shift into a leader mindset very easily. And I felt like if I had been able to do that earlier and I had been able to have a little more sort of guidance into what I needed to do, or just kind of know where to go and where to kind of learn about how to grow into a leader through personal development, I feel like I would have been able to help my coaches a lot more. So I hope that this helps you guys. I hope that it helps you grow with your coaches. I feel like no matter where we get in this business, even if you're a diamond that's in this group that's participating to help your downline coaches, we really never stop learning. And it's really important, especially in this business, that we always be teachable. And that's something that I'm going to talk about a little further on in the call. But I'm going to share my screen because I have all my little points up here. So this will help you guys if you want to take notes or you have questions. Let me get this. Share. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see my screen? Yes? Yeah? Okay. All right. So the first thing that we want to talk about when we want to commit to really kind of getting real with ourselves, as far as our beliefs and as far as our mindset, is you really have to have a strong why in this business. And we talk about that a lot. You know, we always, when we do GSR calls and when we sit down with coaches or we're meeting downline coaches for the first time, we really drill into that. What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? And a big thing that was related to me, when I started by Christy Curtis, who's obviously in this group with us, was that she really talked about, and she talked about this at the very first summit that I attended in 2013. She talked about the 5 whys. And what it really will do is help you drill down and drill really deep into your why to really make sure that it's strong enough. Is it a why that will withstand any kind of how in this business? And that's really what you have to make sure of is, do I have a strong why? So when I talk about the 5 whys, what I kind of want to get into is you pick your why. For me, it's to, it was originally to bring my husband home. And well, why? Because he works a bajillion hours a week. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I'm always posting about he's home. He works a lot of late nights. He works a lot of weekends. And why is that important to me? Because I want to make sure that he's here to make memories with our kids and with our family. Why? Because my dad wasn't around a lot when I was growing up, and that sucked. You want to make sure that you have those memories to make with your family. Why? Because my goal is to not have full-time jobs, but to be a full-time family. And to me, that's what's most important in my life. Is it powerful and does it drive you? You have to make sure you're going to have ups and downs in this business. You are going to have days that you want to throw in the towel, that you want to say, forget it. I don't care how far I've come. I'm done. And We all have those. I still have them. We all have them no matter where we are in this business. It's just the nature of the business. It ebbs and flows. And when it's good, it's really good. And it's been really bad. And you have to make sure that your why and your head is in the right place, that no matter how tough it gets, you know that you're not going to quit. You know that this is temporary. You have to just keep pushing through it. Is it strong enough to shape your mindset? Is having a bad day going to really derail your why? Is it going to make you want to say, you know what? I don't care about all those things I wanted to do. I still want to quit. That's not where we want to be. We want to make sure that no matter what happens, these whys are really powerful enough to withstand anything. So for me, there's two different types of mindset. And this is really kind of how I break it down to really talk about it. So we talk about being in a fixed mindset, which is probably where the majority of coaches, I think, kind of come into this, especially if they were challengers first. They are scared, they need help, whether it's, fitness help or nutrition help, or they're so far into debt that they can't even see the bottom, let alone see the way out. So when we have this, being in what I would call a fixed mindset, we're avoiding challenges. Maybe you know of a coach who you said to them multiple times, you should do that Shine group. It's really great for you. Even if you don't get to Diamond during the group, it's a great way to boost your business. And they were like, I don't think I can do it. They're avoiding that. They're worried that they're going to fail. And we can't be worried that we're going to fail, because that's where that fear comes in. And we always have to try to talk about acting in spite of our fear. If there's somebody who's going to give up easily, maybe they signed up for the last Shine group and they didn't go Diamond in it. And because they didn't go Diamond in those 6 weeks, they're ready to throw in the towel. You know what? I tried it. It didn't work. I quit. They're not seeing the bigger picture. They're not realizing that, this isn't like any other network marketing, MLM, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, kind of company out there. So it's not going to behave and give you the same kind of result back that you're going to get from any other company. They see their effort as fruitless. You're inviting people and you're inviting people and you're inviting people, and you have people that are saying no, and you have people that are saying, well, maybe I'm ready, maybe I'm not. And they feel like no matter what they do, everybody's telling them no, they can't get past it. And they're like, you know what? I'm just going to stop inviting people because everybody's going to tell me no anyway. That's not where we want to be. We want to be in the mindset that we're going to help. We're going to find somebody to help, no matter what we have to do to get there. They ignored useful negative feedback or constructive criticism, as we, like to call it. So if somebody sees a post, your sponsor would see a post from you and say, that's a really good post. Can I give you a tip? Because, sorry, I finally have my voice back from like 2 weeks of some kind of horrible sinus thing. If your upline says, you know what, I saw that post, it's really good. If I could give you a piece of advice, I made this same mistake. Here's a great way to tweak it. And instead of being receptive, you kind of just block it out. And you're like, well, you know what? I can't even make a Facebook post right. I quit. Or why am I going to keep trying? Or you shut down and you stop posting on Facebook because you had one post that maybe didn't really kind of communicate the point that you wanted to get across. You feel threatened by the success of others. This business is hard. There's a lot of comparison in this business. It doesn't go away as you rank advance. And I think that worrying about that and playing the comparison game is a really slippery slope, and it's really kind of a dangerous path to go down in this business. So, there's people that maybe they signed up the same time as you did, right around the same time. Maybe they rank advanced faster than you did, or maybe you have people that are the same rank as you, but they're making more money than you are. How's that going to affect your everyday life? It doesn't. It doesn't affect what you do in a day. You shouldn't let it affect what you do in a day. It doesn't affect the things that you're doing with your team as a coach. It doesn't mean that they are a better coach. It doesn't mean they are a more successful coach. They are simply a different coach than you are, and they're on a different path. They blame others for their lack of success or their lack of sort of progress in the business. You know, I would be making more money, or I would be further advanced if my upline placed me on their power leg. Newsflash: most of the network is on an inside leg. It's just the nature of the beast, and it's just the way that this business works. I am on a dead inside leg. I will tell you, yeah, it takes a little longer to build, but you know what? You could still get there. You can't control that. And these are all things that you can't control. Looking at your short-term loss versus your long-term gain. That to me is huge. That's like having somebody talk with you back and forth. You've been forming them and having this relationship with them, and they're ready. They want to sign up. They're going to do it. And either the day before your sign up or the day of their sign up, they say, you know what, my husband wrecked the car the other day, and I have to come up with $500 for a deductible for my car insurance. So I don't have that $140 today to sign up. And you're like, well, that sucks. So instead of saying, well, you know what, let's get this person into a free group. Let's help them. Let's see if we can work with them to figure out a way that once they pay this $500, they can save that $140 pretty quickly so they can get started on the path that they want to get started on. We look at it as, well, now they're not going to buy anything, and there go my Success Club points. People are not dollar signs, and people are not Success Club points on a tally board. They are human beings who need our help. And when we invest in them and we invest our time in them and we look at the long-term gain and helping them, it drives our business so much. Because by you taking the time to help that person who today can't purchase a challenge pack, by you helping them for free, they're going to remember that. They're going to invite their friends, and they're going to tell them, you know what, I don't have the money to join one of her groups, but she's helping me anyway. And that's all going to contribute to what I would call a growth mindset. So when we have these growth mindsets, I just want to make sure there's no chats. No. Okay. When we have a growth mindset, we really kind of embrace the challenge. When somebody says to you, can you get to diamond in 60 days? And you're like, I don't know, it's kind of hard. Let's see if I can do it. You know, you really want to embrace that and take it and run with it, because the worst that's going to happen is it's going to take you a little longer to achieve that goal. We really want to persist in the face of setbacks. This right now is probably the biggest piece of advice that I could offer you for the month of August. August is notoriously probably some of the slowest few weeks of the year. And it's slow for everybody. It's slow for me personally. It's slow for my team. And honestly, as a whole, this August is slower than last August. And that's probably the general consensus across the network. And that's okay. Here's where it's important. Don't stop. Don't throw in the towel, and don't say, well, you know what? Nobody is answering me. They're trying to get the kids back to school. My kids are outside my office probably ready to bang on my door because I've been in here for too long. If we throw in the towel, we risk so much at this time of year by making ourselves unavailable to challengers. This is a little off topic, but to touch on really the setbacks that come in August. You know, there's a lot of people that won't post. There's a lot of people that won't be present on social media now because of the time of year, because it's slower. They feel like they don't have to be there. So what do we want to do? We want to persist, and we want to see our effort as the path to mastery. Why? Because if you are having success now, when it's really, really hard, imagine what's going to happen to your business in 3 more months when it's easy. When people are ready to make these commitments, when people are packing on holiday pounds, when Hammer and Chisel is about to release. When things like that happen and your business is going to soar, you are going to see that happen and compound tenfold. If you're inviting 20 people now and you're having setbacks, if you're inviting 20 people a week because you're having setbacks and it's not enough, invite 40. See your effort as the path to mastery. Because if you start inviting 40 people a week now instead of 20, when it's really hard, if you've got to invite 40 people a week now to get your 5 Success Club points, that becomes your new normal. That becomes your new habit. So if you go from inviting 20 to inviting 40, and you do that consistently, well, when you're inviting twice as many people a week when it's easy, what's going to happen to your Success Club points? So if you're pushing for 40 people a week to get 5 points now and it's really hard, and you stay that course, and you keep that 40 invites a week or whatever you're choosing to get to, then the months that it's easy, if you're still sticking with that high number, you're going to be the ones with 10, 12, 15, 18, 25 Success Club points because it's easier. Stick with it. Stay the course. Because I can tell you firsthand, the people on my team that pushed last year at this time when it was really, really hard and they had to bust their butts to get their 5 points, they were the people that in December and January were the top Success Club point earners on the team with 18 points, 22 points, because they pushed through this really slow time, August, September, into the beginning of October leading up to leadership. Learn from constructive criticism. Make sure that if you feel like something isn't right with what you're doing, ask for feedback, but take that feedback and own it and use it to help fix what you're doing. Don't shut down when people want to help you. Find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. To me, when I see income posts still from really big coaches, I could let it frustrate me. I let it inspire me because it lets me see what's possible in this business. If you put your head down, if you put your blinders on to what everybody else is doing, and you just follow the behaviors. Find lessons in what they're doing. Find coaches that resonate with you, that resonate with your story, and follow them and learn from their story. And your story is going to evolve from the day that you signed up, just as their stories have evolved, just as mine has evolved from the day that I signed up. Understanding that you don't know it all and being teachable. That is probably the most important lesson in this business that you will ever learn, is to understand that you don't know it all and that you're willing to learn. There's a lot of call trading going on. Those of you on my team, we've had tons of guest speakers. I have spoken on a lot of calls. We all kind of trade calls among the leaders in the network because your story may resonate with somebody else. My story may resonate with somebody on Amber's team. And, Ashley may get on a call for my team, and her story may resonate with somebody in my downline. And it's about just sharing these stories and making sure that we're teaching something and we're learning something. I pick up something on every team call that I have a guest speaker on. I don't ever claim to know it all because I clearly don't. And we always want to make sure that maybe somebody has a slightly better way of doing things than we've been trying to do. So it's important that we always make sure that we're teachable and that we're always open and willing to learn, and never say that we know it all. Because that's where our business has become stagnant. That's where ego comes into play. And compare your ego to your bank account. And that really will kind of put everything into check. Being in a growth mindset will help you empower others. And there's so many ways to empower people. The easiest way is through recognition. Celebrating a coach for signing up their first coach, selling their first challenge pack, getting their first customer. We shout coaches out for rank advancement all the time. Success Club, Success Starters, Success Club Earners, Success Club All-Stars, and Legends. Really empowering your coaches. Even something as simple as you see a new coach who's got a great post and you shout them out on your team page. So-and-so just signed up last week, but you know what? She clearly understands it. Look at this great post she put up today. That's a great thing. Adding value to others. To me, this is probably the most important thing. When you've got something that works for you, share it. Don't be in that mindset that, I have to keep this information for myself because if I help somebody, if I give somebody this information, they may be more successful than I am. There are plenty of customers and coach prospects to go around in this country, I assure you. This country has a horrible, horrible obesity epidemic. And I promise you, there is no shortage of anybody. You are doing nobody but yourself a disservice by having great information or great tips and not sharing them. And that's, again, why we all kind of trade these calls, why we come together to do these groups cross-line, because everybody has different value to add. And, a rising tide will lift all ships. We only do better as a team when we want to do better by ourselves. When we try to help make everybody else better is when we become better. Having fear, but acting anyway. Being terrified. We act out of what I like to believe two things. We either act out of love or we act out of fear. And when we let that fear hold us back is when we do ourselves such a disservice because it doesn't allow for growth. You don't get anywhere staying comfortable. Do one thing that will scare you. I have what I called when I first signed up, and I don't remember who brought this up when I was a brand new coach. But I brought this up the last time I did this call earlier this week. And everybody who's on this call, or if you're watching the recording, take a piece of paper and write down 20 people that you know that you think would be absolutely perfect for this business, but you are terrified to present the opportunity to. I call it the chicken list. So write down 20 people who you think would be amazing coaches. You think they would totally rock this business. They would blow it up, be your next little rock stars, but you are terrified to present the opportunity to them or one way or another. And then what I want you to do is each week, I want you to pick one person off of that list and I want you to invite them. The worst that's going to happen is that they're going to say no. But here's the thing. What if they're ready, but they're afraid to come to you? What if you reach out to them and they say, it's not for me. I appreciate it. I'm very flattered that you think I would be great at this. Right now, it's not the right time for me. Okay, fine. That's like anybody else telling us no in this business. But what happens if you invite them and they say, I'm really glad that you reached out to me because I really wanted to do this and I've been afraid to reach out to you? What happens then? You create that whole ripple effect that maybe this person will have on everybody that they know. We do nobody but ourselves. We do a huge disservice to ourselves and to everybody by giving into that fear and not acting on it. So make sure that you do something that you're afraid of. Because the worst that's going to happen, especially in this business, is that somebody's going to tell you no. Or you're going to mess up. You're going to have a crappy social media post. Who cares? Scrape it up, delete it, try again tomorrow. But make sure that you're always growing and that you're always learning. So then we want to tie it in and talk about how your belief in yourself is really going to go hand in hand with this. So we have the fixed mindset, we have the growth mindset, but do you believe that you are any of the above? Why do you think that? Did you guys on the call get a feeling, okay, maybe I am in a fixed mindset, or no, I'm definitely in a growth mindset? Why do you feel like you're there? Why do you believe that you're there? If you're in that fixed mindset, how do you think that you can change? How do you think that you can get out of that mindset? Maybe it's a question of personal development. Maybe you're not doing the right kind of personal development, and that I'm going to touch on in a minute. But you really want to make sure that you can do something to get yourself out of that mindset. Maybe you are somebody who is always feeling flustered and always feeling like you're trying to play catch up with your whole life. What's going on in you that's preventing you from really focusing on your business? Do you have an office? Do you have a desk? Do you have a home base for your business? Having that will drastically help your mindset. You'll be able to focus a little bit better. How will you believe in you? That's going to come from personal development. You can say, oh, I'm going to be great. Oh, I'm going to get to diamond. Oh, I'm going to get to 5-star. All you want. You can say it. Doesn't mean that you believe it. When you truly, truly believe that in yourself, that you have it in you to be great and to be successful, is when you will see this shift happen in your business. So how do we tie this into the products? So we talk about inviting. We want to make sure that we have this consistency in our inviting. You want to let people know that you aren't going anywhere, especially now. We talked about this being the notoriously slow time, and a lot of people won't be posting on social media. So how do we combat that? We want to make sure that we're the consistent ones. We want to make sure that we let people know that we're not going anywhere, because probably for every coach that somebody sees on their feed, there's probably 4 more that aren't posting right now because things are slow. You need to be that consistent feature, because when they start to gain that holiday weight, or when they're feeling crappy because it's cold, everybody's bundled up and they don't want to go to the gym, or they're ready to make their New Year's resolution again, which I can't believe I'm talking about already because it's August. They're gonna go, I don't know if so-and-so is still a coach. I haven't seen her post on Facebook about it in a while. But you know what? Chelsea posts about it all the time. I know she's still a coach. I'll message her. That's huge. Those people are going to know that they can count on you. Being in these businesses, we see people come and go all the time in all of these different, Beachbody too. We see coaches sign up, they say they're going to rock it, and 2 months later they quit. There's a big turnover in these businesses. Absolutely. But by showing people that you aren't going anywhere, it gives them trust. It lets them know that when they're ready to sign up, whether they're signing up as a challenger, whether they're signing up as a coach, especially if they're signing up as a challenger, that's scary for them. They know that you're going to be there for them to help them through these programs. That's what we do. They know that they can count on you. Let your people know that you aren't going anywhere. And you guys, honestly, once this app comes out, it's going to be so easy. I was up until 2:30 in the morning last night playing on it. Once the Challenge Tracker app is available for everybody, it really is going to be a game changer for everybody with their challenge groups. Again, be proof the products work. Here's where that comes in. This is not being proof of the product, is not posting a picture of a bag of Shakeology. Being proof the product works is not posting a picture of your shake just in a shaker cup. Being proof the product works is sharing your story, sharing your journey, sharing what these products have done for you. I share, and it's not necessarily part of my personal story, I share that as a proof of the product, my husband lost 45 pounds with Shakeology and the Ultimate Reset, and he's kept it off for 2 years. That's part of my story. But he's proof the products work. I'm proof the products work. Shakeology lowered my cholesterol. Share your story, because people are going to resonate with you. And this is probably the hardest of the behaviors, because when we share our stories, we are sharing the most vulnerable parts of ourselves at probably some of the worst times in our life. And we put that out there for the world to see. And we worry that we're going to be judged on it. But 9 times out of 10, when you really open up and you really give that raw part of your story, somebody is going to listen to it and go, oh my God, that's me. That's me now. And that was her 2 years ago. And look at where she is now. I bet you why can't I do that? And they'll reach out because you had the guts to be honest, and because you fought that fear and shared those vulnerable parts of yourself. And doing personal development, especially when you don't want to. And here's the kicker with personal development, guys. Those people who say that they don't need personal development often need it the most. And I was one of those people. And I like to think of the behaviors as like a 3-legged stool. So if you kick one of those legs out, it's not going to stand up. Your business is going to start to crumble. So here's some tips that I like to give. These are some of the things that I like to use every day. So I use the Spirit Junkie app, which is by Gabrielle Bernstein. This is on an iPhone too, so I don't know if you guys have it on the Android, sorry. And it just gives you like a nice little wake up of inspiration in the morning. I use the Secret app as well, which is 365 little lessons every day. And what I like about it is it starts on day one, whatever day you put it on your phone. And if you're away or you're not checking it, you can actually go back and reset it to whatever day you kind of left off on, and it'll pick up. Audible is like my favorite thing, because I can always have something on hand that's feeding my brain, even if I don't have time to sit down and read a book. Make sure that you're doing the right kind of personal development. This is probably the most critical of when you drill down into the vital behaviors, is making sure that we're doing the right kind of personal development. I think that if you are struggling with self-doubt and you're struggling with having a mindset shift, GoPro is probably not the book you should be reading. There's a big difference between personal development and business development. I absolutely feel like everybody should read GoPro. Don't get me wrong. But when you really want to drill into that kind of mindset, you want to make sure that you're doing the right kind of personal development. You want to make sure that you're working on you. And the law of attraction is a very real thing. And what you put out into the universe, that's really what's going to come back to you. So the other thing that I had put down was affirmations. And I actually think my affirmation journal is not at my desk. It's probably not. It's probably upstairs. But I have what I would call an affirmation journal. So what it is, and it's just a notebook. It's just like a fancy little notebook that I picked up like at Staples or Target or something like that. And in it is my daily, it's my what I call the 3-3-5. So every morning when I get up, I take my affirmation journal and I write down right away 3 things that I'm grateful for right now. And then I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for in the future, having gratitude for things that haven't come yet. And then I write down my 5 affirmations for that day. And they could be things like, I am a leader amongst leaders, or I lead my team with heart and with integrity. Things like that you really want to have come to fruition for your business. Start one of those and watch what will unfold in your business. It's amazing what happens when you put things like that into the universe. It really is. So that's pretty much my whole talk about this. Does anybody have questions? We're only at about 35 minutes. So we have a few minutes left if anybody has specific questions on anything.
I have 4 crazy kids here. I'm afraid I'm going to start screaming as soon as I ask a question.
What's up?
When you were talking about like the 20 people that you think would be perfect that you're afraid to invite, I know a lot of times your best coaches don't necessarily look like what you would think, a traditionally great coach would look like. Do you have any? I've just been sort of inviting everybody after been doing this for a few years. Do you have any traits that you see in people that kind of, you think make them stand out a little bit more? Excuse me. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that 20 people, that chicken list, that's people that I know personally that I think would be great coaches. But I would be afraid to invite them. I tend to look for people that would be more like me. Things I always look for are people who are very self-motivated. They have very clear leadership qualities to them. They are always open to trying new things. They are somebody who maybe would like to bring in extra money to their house. But what I really look for are people who kind of have a certain leadership quality about them, and people who already may be integrating some sort of health or fitness or transformation or something like that into their life. Maybe something as simple as, they're looking for advice on how to pack healthier lunches for their kids as the school year is going to start. But for me, when I started, when I was asked to do that, I'm trying to think of who. A lot of them are coaches now. But I'm trying to think of who I had put on the list that I thought would be good coaches. And it really was just people who I had seen that had been either they already owned their own business, so they understood what came with being an entrepreneur, and just sort of having those distinct, I feel like, leadership qualities about them. I think anybody who has that natural leadership ability can be fantastic in this business if they're teachable. If you're having trouble, use the color code. Oh yeah, the color code is great. I use the Gems by Danny Johnson. Personally, we used to use the color code a lot on our team. And what the leaders and I had felt was that the color code really delves into who you were as a child, which I think a lot of us are very different than how we were as kids. So I use the Gems because I feel like it's a more, it's a better kind of interpretation on what you are now. And it sort of does follow the color code for the most part. I mean, the ruby is a red, the sapphire is a blue, the pearl is a white, and I guess the emerald would probably be the yellow on the color code. Annie's shaking her head, so I think she knows the color code better than I do. I know the Gems pretty well, but they line up pretty similarly. My favorite books on leadership, anything by John Maxwell, 21 Laws of Leadership. I'm actually doing the 21 Laws of Leadership now with my diamonds as like a mastermind. And it's really been proven to be super helpful in developing these leaders. We use the workbook and we go through it and we relate it to the business, and it's really been great. John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth is probably one of my favorite books. On leadership, Leaders Eat Last is a great one. Tribes by Seth Godin is another one that I love, that I recommend for everybody to read. And Jim Rohn's The Art of Exceptional Living. If you have it on Audible, it's really long, but it really is probably the best book on how to just live your life. I highly recommend that everybody listen to that.
So, Brianne, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I am a brand new coach.
Good for you.
Yay, I'm excited. So, signed up August 1st. So many of the people that are on my children list
Good for you.
are not at all familiar with Beachbody. And so I'm my approach is what I'm kind of concerned about, because the way I am, it's, hey, I think you'd make a great coach. I know you don't know anything about what I'm trying to get you to get involved with. Do you do it that way, or do you start with let me invite you to a secret or a free group with all in the back of your mind? Eventually, I'm going to talk to you about the coaching opportunity.
Okay. So have you read GoPro yet?
GoPro?
Yeah,
no.
by Eric Worre. Okay. I would recommend picking that up for two reasons. The first thing is it's a great book on the business and everybody should read it. It's really short. It's like 100 pages.
Okay.
The second reason is Eric Worre has these great scripts that you can they're very scripty, but they're very easy to adapt.
Okay.
For you to approach people with this same thing. You know, I feel like you would be a great coach. I know that you don't know anything about it. And it basically kind of breaks down how you would present the opportunity to them, and at the same time, let them know that you have information available. Allison, who's your sponsor?
Jane Perillo.
Who's your star diamond?
Jane. I am in Heather's.
Oh, you're in Heather's organization. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay.
Whose downline you belong to.
Okay.
So what I would do is talk to Jane or talk to Heather, see if they have like a business opportunity webinar, either a live or a recorded one.
Okay.
Or if they're doing sneak peeks, I don't know how often Heather does sneak peeks, or Jane does, but I would just reach out to Jane, and she can always reach to Heather, or you can reach to Heather if you need to. But I would just ask them if they have either a business opportunity webinar available, or a call that they do, or a sneak peek that may be running, that you have these different options available to you, and have that in place before you would reach out to these people, so that once they say, you know what, I'll check it out, you're not like, oh my God, wait, what do I do? Who do I message? but that's a great question, and good for you for just signing up and jumping into one of these groups. Really, it's going to do nothing but help you grow. Seriously.
I'll probably go through a couple of times. So, hey, so what was the author's name of, is it GoPro?
GoPro by Eric Worre.
Okay.
Worre.
Great. Got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all for jumping on. I hope that it was helpful. And we'll be posting this in the Shine group. So if you guys do have questions or you want to share it with your team, feel free to ask questions in the page. Share this link with your team. We'll have it up there for you guys later this afternoon. Thank you all for taking time out of your crazy afternoons to hop on and listen for a bit. So have a good day, everybody.